welcome to the Blindfold Chess Podcast.
This week, we are looking at a women's world champion, a two-time Chess960 World Champion, a Rapid and Blitz Champion, the 10th woman in history to earn the Grandmaster title, and a 10-time gold medalist for Russia, Alexandra Kosteniuk. Born in 1984 in Perm of the Soviet Union, her family moved to Moscow when she was 3. Alexandra learned chess at the age of 5 from her dad. She credits her dad with a lot of her early accomplishments. Quote, "He taught me to play chess and worked with me several hours a day. My dad sacrificed so much for me. He abandoned a very promising and brilliant career as an army officer in order to help me and accompany me to tournaments. I think he is the best trainer I've ever known." She said that in an interview on Arthur Mag from 2002 when she was 18 years old. Growing up, she played chess to earn money to help fund her chess trips, including in 1994, where she won the girls under 10 division of the European Youth Championship in Romania. 1 month later, she was in Hungary, where she tied for first at the World Youth Championships, but ended up getting second on tiebreaks. 2 years later, she got her, quote, revenge by winning the girls under 12 European Youth Championship and the girls World Youth Championship in sole first place. She also won the Women's Russian Rapid Championship. 1 year later, in 1997, she earned her Women's International Master title at the age of 13 after having a FIDE rating of at least 2,200 and 3 tournament performances above a 2250 rating. In 1998, she found herself in Paris, where she won the Under-14 Disney Girls World Championship. Later that year, she also earned her Women's Grandmaster title at the age of 14. At the turn of the millennia, she earned her International Master title at the age of 16, and the following year, she stunned the chess world, where in a blog post she wrote, quote, "In 2001, at the age of 17, to everybody's surprise, I came in second at the Women's World Championship in Moscow." End quote. This was a 64-player knockout tournament. She was seeded 12th going into the tournament, and on her way to that championship match, she defeated the number 47 seed. In round 2, she faced the number 1 seed, Alyssa Galiamova. In round 3, it was the 6th seed. Round 4, it was the 8th seed. And in the championship, she faced Zhu Chen, who was the 4th seed. In the 4 classical games, they split with 2 wins each, and then in the tiebreakers, Chen emerged with 3 wins to Kosteniuk's 1. All 8 games of that Women's World Championship were decisive. 2 years later, in 2003, Alexandra graduated from the Russian State Academy of Physical Education as a certified professional chess trainer. After her graduation, she was in a movie. She played the character Vera in the Russian film Bless the Woman. Returning to the chessboard the next year, Kosteniuk won the European Women's Championship. She finished the tournament with a performance rating over 2,600, which notched her final norm needed to earn her Grandmaster title. She was the 10th woman in history to earn that title, and at the time, she was the 3rd youngest to do so behind Judith Polgar and Kotaru Humpy. Continuing her winning ways, in 2005, she won the Russian Women's Championship with a score of 9 out of 11. In 2006, at the inaugural Chess960 Women's World Championship, which was a separate event to the open version of the Chess960 World event, Kosteniuk defeated Elizabeth Potts 5.5 to 2.5 to become the first Chess960 Women's World Champion. 2 years later, at the second and the last Chess960 Women's World Championship, she defended her title by defeating Katerina Lagno 2.5 to 1.5. With 2 960 World Championships already under her belt, she took aim again at the Classical Women's World Championship of 2008. This again was a 64-player knockout tournament, and going into the tournament this time, she was the 9th seed. In the first round, she defeated the 40th seed. In round 2, she received a bye. Round 3, she defeated the 8th seed. In the quarterfinals, she knocked off the 17th seed. And then in round 5, she beat the 5th seed, Pia Kramling. And going into the championship match, she was paired against Ho Yifan, where Kosteniuk emerged victorious 2.5 to 1.5 to become the 14th Women's World Champion. During that entire Women's World Championship tournament, she never lost a game. As the newly crowned World Champion, she played in the first Association of Chess Players World Rapid Cup of 2011, finishing with a score of 10 out of 11 and a performance rating of 27.45. Aiming to repeat her title in 2010 at the Women's World Championship, she went into the 64-player knockout tournament as the number 1 seed. In round 1, she defeated the 64th seed. In round 2, she defeated the 33rd seed. However, in round 3, she lost 1.5 to 2.5 to Ruan Lufi, who eventually lost the championship match to Ho Yifan. In 2013, she became the first woman to win the Women's Swiss Chess Championship and the Open Swiss Chess Championship. 2014, she tied for first at the Women's World Rapid Championship with Katarina Lagno, but got silver on tiebreaks. 2015, she won the European Association of Chess Players Rapid Championship. 2016, she won the Russian Women's Championship for the second time, 11 years after she had won it the first time. And the following year, she won both the European Association of Chess Players Blitz Championship and the European Women's Rapid and Blitz Championships. Fast forwarding a bit to 2021, she played at the inaugural Women's Chess World Cup, a 103-player knockout tournament. She entered as the 14th seed and won the event, taking home a $50,000 prize and a spot in the 2022 Women's Candidate Tournament. That Candidates Tournament, she struggled, losing in the first round of the 8-person knockout tournament to Alexandra Goryachenko, 1.5 to 2.5. Later that year, we saw Russia invade Ukraine. FIDE announced sanctions against Russia and Belarus, including banning them from various events. Kosteniuk, along with 43 other top Russian players, wrote an open letter to Vladimir Putin protesting the invasion. For the remainder of 2022, she played under the FIDE flag rather than the Russian flag. Then in 2023, she changed to the Swiss Federation and has been playing there ever since. A list of Alexandra's accomplishments would not be complete without mentioning her success in various team events, including winning the gold medal for Russia at the Women's Chess Olympiad in 2010, 2012, 2014, and then in a tie with India in 2020, a gold medal at the Women's World Team Championship of 2017, and gold at the European Team Championships of 2007, 2009, 2011, 2015, and 2017. And that brings us to today. She is still playing, and she's still dominating, and she's also a content creator. If anybody wants to check her out, she has a YouTube and Twitch channel under the name Chess Queen, all one word. She has a couple of courses on chess.com, and she has also written a couple of books, including Diary of a Chess Queen and How I Became Grandmaster at age 14. For our game this week, we are going to go back half a decade to the Gibraltar Masters Tournament of 2020. Alexandra Kosteniuk versus Daniel Adorned. Now, if we're ready, let's begin.
1. Knight f3. Knight f6. 2. Pawn to g3. Pawn to d5. 3. Bishop G2.
This is an important move throughout the course of this game, and you will see the squares that the bishop influences affect how the game goes on.
Pawn to E6. 4. Castle kingside. Pawn to C5. 5. Pawn to C4.
The move pawn to C4 appears to be giving up a pawn, but what is White's idea behind it? If Black were to play the move pawn d captures on C4, that is doing White an incredible favor by opening up the A8 to H1 diagonal for the light square bishop that is on G2. Also, White could always just recollect that pawn by playing queen to A4 check, followed by queen captures on C4. So the idea is to help open up that diagonal, as well as to put pressure on the light squares in the center for Black.
Knight C6. 6. Pawn to D4. Pawn C captures D4. 7. Pawn C captures D5.
Instead of recapturing the pawn that is on D4, White opted to go with pawn C captures on D5. What is the idea behind that? The black pawn that is on D4 is not going anywhere, so White could always just recapture that later. However, by playing pawn C captures on D5, Black is presented with a choice. Either he could recapture it with a piece like queen captures on D5, or knight captures on D5, in which case the light square bishop that is on G2 gains more access along the A8 to H1 diagonal. And if a pawn were to capture by playing pawn E captures on D5, now White has created an isolated pawn that is sitting on a light square that can be attacked and a weakness for Black.
Pawn E captures D5. 8. Knight captures D4. Bishop E7. 9. Knight C3. Castle kingside. 10. Knight B3. Bishop E6. 11. Bishop E3. Pawn to B6. 12. Rook C1. Queen D7. 13. Knight D4. Knight E5. 14. Bishop F4. Knight G6. 15. Bishop G5. Pawn to H6.
By black playing the move pawn to h6, it is presenting white with a choice. You can either retreat the bishop, or you can play bishop captures on f6, or you can do something else. If you were in white's position, what would you do here?
Knight captures e6.
White decided to go this route as it is removing a defender of the d5 square and allowing some tactical shots along the h8 to h1 diagonal. But if you were to say bishop captures on f6 with the same idea of removing a defender from the d5 square, then that is absolutely correct.
Pawn f captures e6. Bishop captures f6. Bishop captures f6. Knight captures d5. Pawn e captures d5. Bishop captures d5 check. King h7.
The move king to h7 is a terrible blunder from black. Had black were to have played king to h8, then white would have played bishop captures on a8, the black queen would capture on d1, white would play rook captures on d1, and black would play rook captures on a8, and we have entered an endgame where it is 2 rooks against a rook and 2 minor pieces. What does the move king to h7 allow?
Bishop g8 check. Black resigns.
Black resigned as after black plays king captures on g8, white can play queen captures on d7, collecting the unprotected queen. It is funny that the light square bishop that is on g2 from move 3 was helping hit critical squares the entire game of d5, a8, g8, and h7. Adorned with 10 different gold medals from team events, being the 10th woman in history to earn the Grandmaster title, being the Russian women's champion, Europe's Rapid and Blitz champion, a 2-time Chess960 World Champion, and a women's world champion, Alexandra Kosteniuk has certainly made a splash in the world of women's chess. So that is all that we have for this week. Tune in next time where we will continue to work on our blindfold skills and look at another game of the Masters.